Tell us how millennials helped shape your learning technology strategies at Northrop.
They get very uptight when things don't work, for one. So we learned to make sure things work before we deploy it. You know, we used to be very forgiving with ourselves about that, and we started to lose the ability to be as forgiving because it was just very disruptive. So when things don't work as expected, then it's not good. So that was the one way they impacted our strategy. The other way millennials impacted our strategy was just in terms of access. How quickly can we get access? You know, when I was coming up, access was tiered, right? Like almost you had to have permission. And they challenged this whole thing about, well, why can you get into it and I can't? So again, we had to explore that. And then the other thing, we also had to balance, again, this, what I used to call conservatism, right? But it really wasn't the right way to think about it. Again, a company like Northrop is a company like Northrop for some very important reasons. And the people that invest in that organization, they like to see that we maintain the integrity of our platforms and what we do and how we do it. You haven't read about a security breach at Northrop, right? And there's a reason for that, right? So there is this balance why the millennials will say, well, I need this, I want that, and such and such and so and so. There is the opportunity to say, well, I appreciate that. Now, I need you to understand a little bit more about the environment that you're in relative to this thing that you want. And then we come to compromise. So instead of having like total accessibility from wherever they are, whatever they're doing, they understand more about the parameters under which we work. And we kind of like compromise between what's available outside of the firewall. And then more importantly, the access they have inside of the firewall. Now again, then I like to translate access, not in terms of information, but in terms of relationship. So while they would say access to information, what we really found out is they want access to you. They want to be able to talk to you. They want to be able to build a relationship, understand more deeply what's going on, what's needed of them, how they can be supportive. So, you know, the access thing was no longer an access thing. Now it becomes a real engagement thing. Because the data's there, right? So you have access to it, but what was missing was the relationship between the data and the people who, you know, had the intuition about it or the history. And that's how they influenced development overall, right? Not necessarily training, but the whole ideal about employee engagement and development and inclusiveness and those types of things.